and now, listen in the Carve. You and now, listen in the Carve. You and now, listen in the Carve. You and now.
Yeah, Carve Radio, the vibe too strong, the type you never could deny whichever side you on. Yeah. That's why we writing these rhymes. These young niggas so in love with the shine. I still remind. We on it, it's my time. Yeah, I still remind.
Every day we on it, it's our time.
Carve Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Carve Podcast Series. I am Ngcaba.She and today we're hanging out at Saint Restaurant. I'm with Snalo. We're obviously here to talk about the amazingness of the work that she's currently doing within the art space. We have a segment that's called #CarveCurate, and on that segment is basically us celebrating all the amazing artists in South Africa, all the young creatives that are being impactful with their art. And that's definitely why we have Snalo out here today, because baby girl is doing the most when it comes to that and making sure that she not only does paintings or drawings or illustrations, but she makes sure that with whatever she does, there is a message of impact and something that'll keep us woke, you know? How you doing, Snalo?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the Lifestyle Lot.
Thank you.
Dun, 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 dun.
Better than what I expected.
Babe, tell us a bit about your work, you know? I mean, I met you, and when I met you, I was like, okay, cool chick, kante. I don't know. When I go through your social media, I'm like, wait up. Tell us a bit about your work and what got you into this art game.
So I've been illustrating basically my whole life. But I only started getting into this whole like social commentary side more recently. I think especially during lockdown, like, you know, you're forced to think about stuff, and I was online a lot. So that's where I'd get my inspiration. And I was like, okay, I'm tired of just making pretty things and then that's it. Like, I want something that's gonna, it may not be like at a gallery space, but I know that whoever's gonna see it, wherever they're gonna see it, it's gonna spark something, you know? So that's more like the direction I'm headed, is like just changing people's minds, and I'm not really chasing the, oh, like, she's like a famous, whatever. It's more like, okay, how did she try her best? Like, I have a saying that I say to myself, like, I'm trying my best to be my best. I'm not trying to be their best. I'm trying to be my best. And so, yeah, I think right now my art is like doing that, and it seems to be like making an impact, which I'm very like happy about. And, yeah. So.
And you speaking of like how the lockdown has influenced you, I mean, we've seen you do like a Black Lives Matter, we've seen you do like a couple of taken inspo from the old drum magazines. Tell us a bit about the creative process that goes into that and how you got your signature touch, you know? Because right now we can tell a Snalo piece from other works, you know?
So with my style, funny enough, my style I developed now during lockdown. Like I said before, my work was very like basic, flat, you know, and I think I was trying, for a long time, I was just trying to like emulate what I see. Like, okay, I see people getting jobs in illustration and their style's kind of like this. So I thought, okay, maybe this is what is supposed to be seen. And I wasn't getting any jobs. And then like when I finally like found myself in my style, and because for a long time I was afraid, like, it probably looks ugly. Like, I know that these lines there's some people with like trypophobia, so someone has said that, like, oh, when I look at your work, I get like the heebie-jeebies.
Whoa.
You know? So
not true. I love it.
Thank you.
Love it, girl.
So lockdown, I was like, yo, man, I'm not booking any jobs right now, but I've got all the time in the world. And then I just started going with it. And it was more for myself. And then when I would post it, people were like, oh, cool, this is cool. This is like, we like this. So yeah, that's how the style came about. And like with every, as you see, like there's lines, every single piece I make, the lines are never the same. So it's almost like a fingerprint, even like in terms of how it looks, you know. So yeah. What was the other question? Sorry. I got lost in the...
With that now, okay. With that, I feel like it's also made you vocal.
Yes.
Like, in as much as you just thought, okay, these are some of the topics and things that are happening around me, but it's made you have so much more to say, not only just by giving out the works, but you have like a voice right now when it comes to talking about GBV and what's happening in South Africa. So emotionally, like, how has that been treating you? Like, when you do the works, is that where you put out all the energy of that emotion into the works, and so that you can speak more on it? Like, how do you keep that aligned and yourself like together with carrying all of those emotions and messages, you know?
It's very, you see, like, there's a lot happening right now, and being a black woman right now is like
Extreme sports.
It's an extreme sport.
Yeah.
So like, how everything that I think about, I translate into my work. I think that's an outlet that helps me, because if I just like sit and consume all day on social media, like, that makes you sick, and people don't realize like that stuff is so dangerous. So me putting it on like a paper or design and stuff, I think it's also therapeutic for other people, you know, because we so used to seeing like harsh images, like with GBV, it will always be like a woman like who's bruised in a dark room type of vibe. Like, that is, you know. So I tried to switch it up. Like, I was like, okay, like with this one, for example, I use the barber art type of inspo, because I was like, guys cut their hair all the time. That's a space where men are in every day, and they get to be men, you know? So how can I cleverly infiltrate that
Give them
space?
the message.
Yeah, without
it being in their face.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for most parts of it, people feel like we can do as many marches and have a lot of men come out and talk about that, but are they really having the conversations within themselves?
Exactly.
Because I remember once I had a conversation with this other guy, and he said that, well, he's not that concerned because his friends, people in his close circle, they are not molesters or rapists or in any of that. And I'm just like, so that means you can talk trash about it just because your friends,
Exactly.
like, I just feel like the conversations need to live everywhere.
Yes.
And that was a clever idea, because
Yes.
they're all coming through to get their fades. So
all the time. Like, even when I was walking here, like, the security guards that I had to ask, like, always say,
yeah.
the one is like, he first looks at my t-shirt like for a while, and
Yeah.
like, yo, I was like, oh, sorry. You know, that's exactly, my job is done just from that. And the thing is, I wasn't, like, with my work, like I said before, I've moved past like me wanting to be like in a gallery scene, because also gallery scene is not accessible to everyone. Not everyone goes to
People
galleries.
find it like as an intimidating space.
Yeah. You know, so I was like, there's people for that scene, like scene, and there's and then there's like people who should also talk to like the regular people, like on the ground, like people, especially when it comes to GBV, it cuts across, and I feel like this imagery is iconic to South Africans and Africans, well, black people all over. Like, okay, we know what's the vibe. So once they read it, now it's like a double, you know.
And speaking of, this is a whole campaign. You have a whole partnership with Creative Nestlings to make this happen. Tell us a bit about that. I mean, right now, you're just like getting accolades and partnering up with a whole lot of brands. How are you doing it? And tell us a bit about what the future plans are with all these brands that you're currently partnered up with.
This has been so weird in a way, because this was not my intention. Like, when I did this, it was from like, I woke up one morning and I was just feeling sick from like stuff that I had seen the night before. And then I did it and I posted it. And then all the people in the comments were like, yo, we'd love to see this on a t-shirt. And then Creative Nestlings approached me, and then that grew into something. And then I was like, okay, it can't be just t-shirts. What else can I do? I thought about like doing posters all over the city. I was like, okay, that's costly and like time consuming. And then I came up with the sticker idea. Stickers. This is for you, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So with the stickers, I was like, okay, they were supposed to come with the t-shirts, but then, you know, delays. They came out separately, so I just gave them away, and then I'll be like, okay, paste it anywhere.
Tag it.
Yeah, anywhere public, and then put it on your story with the location tag and then I'll repost them. So the whole vibe is just to see how far the message spreads, you know. And over time, like I've seen some people put on their phones. So now I've let it do its own thing because I see this. It has its own life, and I think that's also the beauty about it. Is like I had a vision myself, but like seeing someone put on their phone, for me that's extra special because that's like their phone. That's something they walk around with every day. So yeah, this campaign is doing its own thing, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
And with Aspiral?
Oh, that one. I've been getting like crazy.
Everybody's just DMing you.
Yeah, I've been getting crazy. People are sliding in the DMs, and I'm lucky to say that I'm at a point where I can do what I want. I can pick and choose what I want to be affiliated with.
Come on.
I can finally I can make a living out of something I love. Like whereas before I was a graphic designer. I hate the term. I was just doing brochures, logos, like boring stuff. And then now that I get to be like super creative in my illustrations, it's amazing. So yeah, they hit me up and they doing like something about togetherness. So yeah, the illustration was basically two phones with hands coming out doing this.
Yes.
And because, lockdown, separation and stuff. So that was the concept. Yeah, I've been getting crazy.
And you have a mural.
I have a mural.
Girl, tell us.
So that one was crazy because Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gauteng Department, was looking to do murals to raise awareness on COVID, safety and stuff like that. So they were looking for specifically women of color to do the murals because the murals are always done by men. So they asked me, I was like, I've never done a mural, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah. You can't miss out on that opportunity.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to wing this. If it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. But me actually trying it, it's that whole thing I was saying. Every day I'm trying to be my best,
Yeah.
So I did it. I found girls online who could help me, and then we went to Germiston. We did that, and it came out beautiful. And yeah, it was super emotional. And then it was just that goal because I've always had the goal of I'd love to see my work up on a wall, but like I never thought I would be the one actually doing that. So I was like, once you hit like one goal, you can't stop. I'm at that point, I'm like,
girl, like I'm out here just thinking, why did I not study graphic design, or what did you study actually?
I don't have a degree or anything like that. When I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to do art or design, but like also those kind of courses weren't very
Popular.
It was hard to find information. So like straight after high school, I did fashion design for a year. I don't know why. I just saw the design and
you
it
were
was
like, okay.
And my parents were like, it's
clothes.
Jan. And like they're like, it's Jan, girl, like do something. So I just took the first thing. I did it for a year, sucked. And then I went on to do communication design for a year. And then I think I started turning into a bad girl. I was like, school is not for me. I was just not feeling it. Like, I didn't want to. They were teaching us the technical stuff. Like, I know how to draw. And what's weird about creative schools is, like, they'll teach you, like, this is how you draw a face, but, like, the whole point of being creative is being able to do it yourself, right? So that kind of stuff, like, I was like, So yeah, I went to Umuzi. I did like a learnership in advertising. I think that was easier because then I got to learn a bit more about the business side of being a creative. So yeah, I'm self-taught basically.
And you won an award, or your entry into the game was with between 10 and 5. They had some kind of...
Okay, it wasn't really an entry, but like, yeah. So last year they had this, they were running artist exposure and acceleration program. So they were like, okay, they were supposed to teach us the business side. It didn't actually happen. We just had the exhibition, but it was cool to be chosen for it because then that's when I knew, okay, there is something, people see me. So that just pushed me, even though it didn't actually happen. because of their side. It pushed me to be like, okay, girl, you got this. You can do anything.
And right now, we're seeing a lot of brands partnering up with artists, you know. For you, how would you say this helps in growing, or rather assisting an artist with maybe resources into pushing themselves? Or do you think, you know, it's not really needed to have like a brand affiliated in order for you to push your craft?
I think it's not necessary. It's cool. It's cool, like when brands see you, but if you start off with saying, I want to work with these brands, I want to be this type of artist, that's when you get lost, because now you're going to start doing what these brands want you to do, and you're just going to have that type of like tunnel vision, you know? So like with me, I was just doing what I like. Like I was doing it to better myself, just to like try out new things. And then brands were like, oh, we actually think it's cool. Whereas if I was doing like
The other way around, they would persuade more of the narrative.
They'd be like,
of what
okay,
you,
do it like this, do it like that. And I don't want to be an artist that does stuff because like a brand is like, come on.
Yeah. And speaking about like all these brands that you, or people that are sliding into your DMs, I know you probably have something up your sleeve again, because just yesterday you had an announcement that you put up on WhatsApp. I'm like, yeah, this girl, busy. Tell us about that. What are you bagging?
So Lamppost, the agency, who they represent like mostly like photographers, stylists, you know, the whole production side. They have amazing artists. They had a call for illustrators because they were like, okay, there's a gap. People don't represent illustrators. That's why like it's so hard for us, because the business side, like I said, like the money talks and stuff are very like and when you don't have anyone to back you up, you can fall into like just taking any job, and then that's how you fall into like, oh, now you want to work for brands, and you know. So they had a call for illustrators. I sent my portfolio, and then they're like, hey, we like you. Out of like thousands of applicants, we like you. So I was like, what?
Get it, girl.
Yeah, I was excited because I'm like, yes, now I can be creative.
Yeah.
Like now this whole admin of me going back and forth with clients and, you know, doing like the nitty-gritties, they're going to do that. I get to be like a pure creative now, which is I'm so grateful for. And they get to book me like more gigs, bigger gigs.
But doesn't that concern you though? Because we've seen so many people sign the wrong contract, get themselves into a deal that will trap them in for life or give too much of a percentage. In that, are you still going to make sure that you are still business savvy with your stuff?
So I can't really go into the details of my deal with them, but it is like I went into this like with open eyes.
Yeah.
Like it's a deal that doesn't take from me.
Yeah.
It gives
more than it takes.
Yeah. So
That's good.
I went in because I've seen, like, we know the stories, like you saw my status that it's either you are an energy sucker, an energy giver, or you create your own energy. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely not going to be sucked, and I'm not sucking anyone. I'm creating my own thing, and I'm fortunate enough to have backing now. And this also just gives, I think, other illustrators coming up like that hope of like, okay, they won't drown, because like people don't look at illustrators as like cool creatives or whatever, or like because there's a hierarchy now in the art scene, you know.
Really?
I mean, yeah. You know, there is a hierarchy.
I didn't know that.
There's a hierarchy. Like people look at painters like more sophisticated, like, oh, you know.
Okay.
And those type of people, like, and then there'll be illustrators are seen as like street art or something. Like as soon as you make your stuff like digital or whatever, or you're not in the galleries or in the art scene, people be like, she ain't nothing. But I was like, I don't want to be in the art scene. It's cool. Like, let me just make my own lane and do my own thing. Whether or not people like it, there'll be people who like your stuff and people who don't like it. But at the end of the day, both those people are feeling something, and that's better than nothing, you know? So
So, but you do see yourself still exhibiting your works. If you have an opportunity to
definitely.
exhibit your works in
Yeah.
a space, you'll definitely take it.
Yeah, definitely. But it's not like a priority, like I'm working towards, because also like certain art spaces, they also want you now to be a certain way. So I don't want to ever feel like I'm being trapped into trying to be something I'm not. Like, if I don't make it in there, it's cool. I'll build my own, you know?
But you know what? I think maybe because you could be fortunate enough to have like amazing parents who are always going to support you when it comes to that. But there are other kids out there who are studying art or fine art, and they thinking to themselves, they better get a job when they're done here, because they had to persuade so many people to pay for them to get them into this space. What advice do you have for those artists who wants to get to still be themselves but have to play in that art game that you're saying is so tricky because there's hierarchy in it?
Stick to your own thing. Like, don't get lost in the sauce, you know? Like, it's so easy to get lost in the sauce when you see people get invited to these exclusive parties, you know, and people want to be affiliated with a certain group, you know. Don't, like, that's when they all thinking in like one box, you know. They're not individuals anymore, because now we want to be part of that crowd, or that. You just stick to your own thing. Like, I think that will get you anywhere if you just keep pushing whatever you're pushing, regardless of who's watching. There's always someone watching. Like, that's what I learned for myself. There's always someone watching. Like, I have less than 2,000 followers, and I managed to get like artist representation from like such a big agency, you know. And that was purely because I just stuck to my thing and I did it regardless. I wasn't like crying like, oh, someone please
Check me.
I was.
So for the rest of the year, what can we expect from you? Come on,
A
girl.
lot.
Yes. Like,
Okay, I'll spill the beans on this one.
spill, girl.
I'm doing something with Comedy Central. I won't say what it is. Comedy Central Savannah thing.
Comics Choice Awards. She doing graphics and some other cool other shandies for Comics Choice Awards.
Comedy Central.
Yes,
Was that this?
but then the Savannah Comics Choice Awards.
Oh yeah, but I'm not doing for the awards. There's something else that they're doing.
She's spilling even more, you see? If I keep guessing, she might just tell us what
I
she's
don't
cooking
know.
up.
I don't think I'm allowed to, but yeah. It's that. It's I got like a international collaboration I'm really excited about. But that one was like super. And yeah, it's just me pushing me. More t-shirts coming out.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, for those who don't know you, where can they get you on social media?
Instagram, I'm most active on at Snalo, SNALO _. That's it.
That's
the
it.
other
Hit her up,
socials.
DM her.
Yeah, DM me. But like, oh yeah, but I have an agent now, so
Okay,
they have to go
ooh.
through my for real.
Guys, okay.
If we're talking big
Snalo.
things, you need
So
to go through my
basically, the
agent.
COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown has basically brought a lot of good into your life.
Like a lot.
Do you see yourself
Like,
hitting the streets like how much you were before? Girl, Pella, you were living in those streets.
I was. I'm now. I'm like,
Now you're
there's no
like,
need.
there's no time.
I lived it. I'm
Yeah,
good.
you've
Now
done that now.
I'm like focusing on my stuff because I'm trying.
Yeah, you know, we're really proud of you, and that's why I was
Thank
like,
you.
I need you to come onto the show because I
Thanks.
love your work, and I just love how, you know, confident you are in putting out messages that you are and speaking up, because so many people don't like to really say a lot on their social media pages because they're thinking that it would be making them seem somehow, you know. But I'm glad that you're taking this route and look at all the amazing things that are happening. So guys,
Yes.
we are of course chilling with Snalo at Saint Restaurant. You know, she's got these cool stickers. Check out her social media. She
Yes.
told you her handle. And that's all we have for you today on the Carve Podcast Series. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Signing out.